Hey, it's Ryan with S&B. Today we're going to be doing an install on our short gusset traction bars on this LBZ Duramax behind us. So we've got our short gusset bars is the foundation of this kit, and then we've got our beside frame mounts. This is not a box frame on this truck. And then we've got our 10-10-44 under axle mount for a 4-inch and 3.5-inch axle. We'll show you how this is going to go together. It's going to be a pretty quick install today. We recommend traction bars for any solid rear axle truck. It's about 2 o'clock right now, 2:05. We're gonna see how fast we can get this knocked out even with filming to show you how easy it is to put traction bars on in your driveway and improve how your solid rear axle truck drives, tows, functions all the way around, eliminate all axle wrap. First up, we're gonna make sure we have somewhere between 50 and 84 inches to mount the mounts. So we're looking for a flat section of frame. I've got a great spot right here, unobstructed on both sides. Measuring at about 65 from the center of the rear axle. So we're good to go. We want to do that before we do any drilling or cutting. Next up, we're going to get to the rear and put on our under axle mount. So I'm going to put away the frame mounts and we'll get these opened up. There's one, there's two. Our instructions underneath. So on a 4-inch axle tube, we're going to use these plates. On a 3.5-inch axle tube, we will not use these plates. I think this is going to be a 4-inch, but we'll check once we're down there. The under axle mounts are gonna look like this. I recommend installing the logo plates before you go in the truck, as it's a lot harder to access these once you're in the truck. So this one's ready to go in the truck. We're gonna take this, and these are our load dissipating washers. Over to the truck, set this down, grab a socket and get the factory U-bolt nuts off. We're gonna do this one side at a time. Remove that factory lower plate. We're gonna test fit this once. Make sure I have my axle size right. See if we need that plate. So I can tell you right now, we have the axle size right. We're touching on all 3 sides here. So we'll go ahead. This will be a 3.5-inch diameter axle. Get our nuts started. Strengthen this up where we clamp with a 5/8 U-bolt. We're going to use this adapter. If you're using a 3/4-inch U-bolt, you don't need to use the metal washer like this, but this just helps dissipate the load on the 5/8 U-bolt a little bit better. Second logo plate going on here. We'll move this brake line back a little bit. Give us the clearance we need to tighten this up the rest of the way back here. Next up, we're gonna move on to our frame mounts here. So I'm gonna cut open these. These are gonna be our beside frame mounts. This truck leaf springs outside of the frame rail. This is gonna give us the best clearance. You may need to use an under frame though if you have amp steps installed. This truck does not. So we're gonna go with the beside frame. So frame rail running straight to the back, and then the leaf spring hanger you can see is about right on, mounted on the side of this center line of that leaf spring, and center line of our axle bar mount is about probably 1.5 inches off the frame. So this is our driver's side beside frame mount, and it's going to sit like this. Got our driver's side frame tab pressed up here. I just measured again to make sure we're within that envelope I gave you earlier. We're about 70 inches, so we're gonna be perfect. And then I've just got it clamped up to the frame. And we had some interesting routing with our park brake cable when this lift was done, so we rerouted it, and I had to make some clearance with the brackets here, and it's right above the frame mount. So yeah, we're between that 50 and 84. Got a transfer punch out now. You can do this by just painting them too, but I like to do it this way just so it's a little easier. So I'm going to transfer punch my 4 holes here, and then there's going to be 4 holes on the bottom as well, and then we'll drop this down and drill our 8 holes on this side. So 1, 4 in from the bottom, good 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, all clearly marked. So I'm gonna start drilling these out now. So we're gonna use 3/8 hardware here. So I'm gonna drill 7/16 holes just to give us some clearance. These are Astro. They're called TS20 or TS29. These are half step, half real bit, and they're really good for drilling these frames. Yeah, right. So I've got all the hardware in here. This is an open frame, so we just use standard bolts, but if you have a box frame, you'll get our pull-through bolt kit, which has tap bolts which get pulled into place, but this is a little easier for today's frame. So we'll get 9/16. We're gonna get the logo plate installed before we get the bushings in here. This is a lot easier right now. So we're gonna move to the rear of the truck now and get our rear bushing group installed. Yeah, urethane bushings. We'll get those pressed in, and then this is a compression limiter sleeve. Next, we're gonna take our rear bar section and run our rear bolt through. We don't need to tighten this yet. We're just gonna put our nut on hand tight and then let this rest on the lift. So we got our coupler here. We've got 2 small O-rings and 1 big O-ring per side. So the big O-ring goes on the big side, and there's an O-ring groove in here. So we're gonna press that in all the way around, like so. And on the small O-ring side, we're just gonna press these 2 in on the outer, and this is gonna keep water from getting in between the bars where we have the joint. And then 1 on the inner, we'll press those in all the way around, and now that's ready to slide over the front section of the bar prior to installation. We've got our billet coupler slid over on the smaller section with the O-rings in place. Next, we're gonna take our front bar section, and these are gonna telescope. Now, we're gonna slide this in. We do not wanna overslide it because it's gonna scratch the paint as it goes in. So I'm gonna slide it to roughly where it's gonna be once it's installed. We have a buffer. Our coupler is gonna cover all of this, but we don't wanna slide it too far. So it's important to just slide it as much as we have to. So that's about to the bushing, so we'll let that sit now. We've got our bushings, and we've got our O-rings on both. So the big bushing is gonna come in from the axle side, small bushing from the front of the truck. Press those in, and then we're gonna take our big 7/8 bolt washer. We're gonna slide this back a little bit more until we can get that bolt started in here. So now I've got this bolt threading. I'm gonna grab a socket and we're gonna tighten that down. For this step, we're gonna use a 1 5/16 socket. I'm gonna hold the bar. We're gonna get that as tight as we can with the impact. So we'll get these holes drilled next, then once the holes are drilled, it'll slide right in and we'll tighten that bar down. So I'm gonna get the hole sizes right now and then we'll get that going. So we're gonna start, we've got pilot holes already cut into the rear section. So we're gonna start with a 1/4 inch hole and drill through. It's important we do this from both sides and not just from one side. So come on. So I've got, this is a chromoly sleeve right here. And this is our stainless ARP 12-point bolt. So the sleeve is gonna serve as a crush sleeve and essentially crush these two tubes together when we torque this bolt on the back side here. So I'm gonna put that washer in the rear, this through there, and center this coupler up on the bolt. And give it a few taps. And it should be good to go. So the rear is gonna be a 3/4 inch, and then this front, we're gonna get a 12-point for that. So I got the rear bolt torqued down here. We added our logo plate to the outside. We've got our 1/2 inch bolt at the coupler torqued down as well here. And then the front 7/8 torqued and our frame mount's all torqued down. So this thing, this side's ready to go. We'll measure this out, match the other side, and start drilling some more holes. So we're gonna measure now. Just find something that's common on both sides. This bracket is. So we're 16 3/4 from that bracket on the driver's side, and 16.5 right now on passenger. So I'm gonna try to come back a 1/4 inch, see how good of a job I can do with that. About 1/8 more and we're there. So now I'm running the hardware in, hand tight on the top here. We'll bring the bottom in and then we'll grab our 9/16 socket and wrench and run all these down tight, get them torqued 33 foot-pounds. Perfect. Back there. So we weren't as quick as I'd hoped. We fought some of the, when the previous lift was installed, the park brake cable was routed a little funky, so we had to fight that for about an hour. Got that routed in a way, it cleared our brackets, no problem. It's 5 o'clock right now, Friday night, time to get the heck out of here, but the truck looks amazing. So we've got our traction bars all installed, everything's torqued down. You can see how they came out. We basically went to, you got to find a flat section of frame, and we had to go far enough forwards for the park brake cable to not really interfere with the bracket. Really fits the look of this truck. This truck has about a 6-inch lift on it, the owner told us. And so it really matches those front torsion bar look on this GM and should help with this axle wrap a ton.